Alright, we're going to read this book called The Mary Celeste. Have you guys heard of it before?
No.
No.
I heard the name.
Do y'all know what predicting is?
Yes.
What is it? Raise your hand. Yeah.
Predicting is when, like, before you read, like, you guess what's going to happen.
Okay, so we're going to look at this book. It's called The Mary Celeste, An Unsolved Mystery from History. And looking at the picture and the title, what do you guys think it might be about?
Just a
Yeah.
person.
Wait, raise your hand. About a ship? Yeah? What else? What do you think might happen?
Like, this boat's going to sink.
It's going to sink? That's a good prediction. Yeah?
The boat might fall down and
Yeah.
drown and kill the other animals.
I think another ship is going to crash into.
You think another ship is going to crash into this ship? Those are good predictions. All right, let's find out what's going to happen. Can y'all all see? The Mary Celeste, An Unsolved Mystery from History. When I grow up, I want to be a detective, just like my dad. He says I was born curious, which is just what a detective needs to be. What I'm most curious about now is my father's file of old mysteries that have never been solved. They have baffled people for years. Dad calls these cases open, but I call them history mysteries, and I am determined to figure them out. For each mystery, I read as much as I can about it. I keep a notebook in which I highlight the most important clues. Sometimes I draw a map and a timeline, and I always keep a list of important words that are special to the case to help me understand what has happened. The Mary Celeste is about a ship whose crew disappeared when they were on the high seas more than 120 years ago. The crew was never found, though lots of people have ideas or theories about what might have happened. No one is sure, but Dad says no mystery is impossible to solve as long as you have enough clues. This is how the story goes.
I think my prediction is right.
You think you were right? Let's find out. A brisk December wind filled the great sails of the Dei Gratia. She had left New York on November 15, 1872, to cross the cold Atlantic with a cargo of petroleum. It was a long trip, many days on an empty ocean, and nothing to look at but the thin line between sea and sky. Early in the afternoon of December 4th, Seaman John Johnson, alert at the wheel, spotted a smudge on the horizon. He called out excitedly, "Captain Morehouse, sir, there is something coming toward us off the port bow." What do you guys think is coming towards them?
A boat.
Another boat? Yeah.
Another ship.
A whale or a ship? Captain Morehouse looked through his spyglass. Even though the smudge was miles away, he could tell it was a ship heading in their direction. But as she came closer, he saw that the ship moved slowly, oddly, running aimlessly before the wind. Only 3 sails were still set. 2 had been blown away, and 1 was lying loose. The rest of the sails were furled. Several of the Dei Gratia's crews gathered at the rail to watch the oncoming brig. They all knew something was wrong. "Get me Mr. Debut," ordered the captain. A seaman went below deck to rouse the first mate from his berth. By the time Debut joined the captain, the other ship was near. "Look," Morehouse said, handing the mate the spyglass. Debut looked and saw no one on deck. "But," he said, "they fly no flag of distress. Perhaps they lie drunken below." At the wheel, Johnson laughed. "They wouldn't if they had a captain like ours." Captain Morehouse laughed too, then said, "Let us hail them." They ran up the flags that offered help. Minutes went by, and they got no reply. When they sailed closer still, the captain called out through his speaking trumpet. He was greeted by a strange silence. What do you guys think happened to all the people on the other ship?
Dad. No.
No, the man he let go of the steering wheel, probably.
He did what?
He probably let go of the steering
He let go of the steering wheel? Where are all the people, though?
I think they're downstairs, but
They're underneath?
cannons.
They like go to a restaurant. Like talk.
Alright, let's find out. "Something is definitely amiss," the captain said. "Someone must go over and see." So a small boat was lowered. 3 of the sailors, Debut, Johnson, and the second mate, John Wright, rowed across to the silent brig. The ship was a bit over 100 feet in length, with an ornamental scroll on her bow. "What is she called?" asked Johnson. He was pulling on the oars and so could not see. "The Mary Celeste, out of New York," said Debut, reading the name on her stern. The only sounds were their own voices and the slip-slap of the waves. from the Mary Celeste, there was silence. You guys know where New York is?
Yes.
Yeah? You have been there?
I've been there too. With my
Yeah?
brother and his
I
sister.
went, it just sounds like, kind of like Titanic.
It does kind of sound like Titanic. Debut and Wright clambered on board, leaving Seaman Johnson behind. Slowly, they searched from bow to stern, but there was no one up on the deck, not even at the ship's wheel. The wheel was neither damaged nor lashed to a single course. The lifeboat that should have been lying across the main hatch was missing. Wright and Debut checked the ship's pumps, which turned out to be in good working order. And besides, there was little water in the hold. Mutiny, whispered Wright, as if afraid to say the word aloud. Or a fever ship? Maybe pirates, Debut whispered. Let's get on. Do you guys know what a fever ship is?
A fever ship? A fever? It's like, it's sick.
All right, it'll tell us right here what a fever ship is. A ship on which the crew have all taken ill or died from a disease, perhaps yellow fever or cholera. So they're trying to figure out, do you guys think that they all died, or what do you think happened?
The ship would be cut off.
They all died in the boat.
Because the ship's fine, but there's no people on it.
It died.
You think they all died?
Only a little people probably got on.
But if they died, they'd still be laying on the ship, wouldn't they?
Oh, probably some people
And
took them.
the lifeboat's missing. So maybe they jumped ship
Jumped down.
and left it.
Yeah, they left the ship.
Yeah.
Is we gonna get sticky notes?
Hmm?
We gonna get sticky notes for this?
You don't have to. These are part of the book itself. The captain's cabin sat neat and ship-shape, except that the bed had not yet been made. The print of a small body was on the covers, and several toys lay scattered on the floor. An old dress hung near the bed, some India rubber overshoes standing under it. In the water closet sat a bag of dirty clothing. A rosewood harmonium stood silent against one wall. Above it, a shelf of music books. The captain of the Mary Celeste had brought his family with him and many of the comforts of home. In the first mate's cabin, the ship's log lay open. The last entry dated 8 a.m., November 25th. No trouble had been noted up to that time. So the last time that they knew they were there was November 25th. And it's now December, what, do you guys remember what day it is?
December the 15th.
December the 20th.
But I think I know.
It's December 5th. So it's only been, is it? So it's only been like a week and a half.
I think like they were on the island and then they tied up the boat, but the boat got loose and then it floated away when they were on the island.
That's a good prediction. That could have happened. Let's see. So it's only been about a week and a half since nobody was on the boat. All right, let's find out. But some important items were missing from the Mary Celeste. Where is the chronometer? Asked Wright. Debut added. And where are the sextant navigation book and ship's register? You guys know what a chronometer is?
No.
It's a very accurate ship's clock, not affected by motion or weather. They both knew a ship would never sail without these. Had the captain taken them with him when he left? Then why had the family not taken their clothes or the captain's wife her jewelry? The two men asked themselves these questions. There was nothing to eat or drink in the captain's cabin, so the sailors checked in the ship's galley and pantry. There they found a 6-month supply of uncooked food and fresh water. They checked the crew's quarters, which were in good order, except that there was no crew anywhere to be found.
Probably they used the bathroom. The bathroom was stopped up.
I don't know.
They left their clothes in there.
The last place the men looked was in the ship's hold, where her cargo, 1,700 barrels of raw alcohol, was well stowed. Not a single barrel had been opened. All in all, Debut and Wright looked around the Mary Celeste for over half an hour. How long is half an hour?
30 minutes.
They found no sign of anyone on board, no signs of struggle. The men did not speak as they rowed back, but once on board the Dei Gracia, they had much to say. The captain listened sadly to their report, for he knew Captain Briggs and his wife Sarah. He had even had dinner with them at the Astor House before they sailed. They had told him their 2-year-old daughter Sophia was traveling with them, but their 7-year-old son Arthur had been left behind to go to school. Captain Morehouse knew that Captain Briggs was a good sailor, a smart master, and fair to his crew. The men's oil